Mike Gallagher. Every day, Mike visits with Mark Davis, morning host on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas. Here's today's M&M Experience.
You know, Mark, we love talking about cultural stuff and TV shows and Mary Tyler Moore and all that. I want to bring up an analogy of a movie I remembered when I was a kid that had a profound impact on me, The Exorcist. Do you remember the scene when the little girl who is possessed by the devil does something terrible? And it's way over the top. I forget what it is she did.
Oh, there are a couple of those.
I know. She threw the priest out the window, something. But after she did it, she's sitting in the bed. The devil now is in this little girl's body.
The evil cackle.
The evil cackle and a look on her face like, even I know I went too far. She's got a look, and I remember that scene. I'm like, even the devil knows I went too far. Right. Yeah, but you know what? I'm feeling that today because they've gone so far. Yeah. This evil act of interfering with an election, a desperate attempt to stop Trump, is so far. Mark, you know there are Democrats and people who hate Trump who know this is too much. You know they know it. They're listening to us. They do, Mark. They have to.
Yes, there are some. What percentage of Democrats in America? It's a total gut check. What percentage of Democrats in America look at this and go, dude, I hate him, but this is crazy. We're going to get him elected. And this is or actually, they probably know that. But I think your premise is even they know this is overreach. Even they know this is a sham. Even they know this is wrong.
Read the indictment. Read the indictment and recognize that Fannie Willis has, and incidentally, you saw, of course, the debacle, how they released accidentally the charges before the grand jury ended its meeting.
They just couldn't wait. We got it.
They couldn't help it. They couldn't help themselves. I mean, this is like right out of a Hollywood movie. The state of Georgia, now let this sink in, has criminally indicted the former president of the United States for tweeting that people ought to turn on the TV and watch One American News.
Yep.
That's one of the charges.
Another one is securing a meeting room in the state capitol to coordinate the alternate set of electors that they would deploy if their claims prevailed. They didn't, so the alternate electors, were for naught. But just renting securing that room was also a crime.
Another one, they indicted the White House chief of staff for asking for a phone number.
In Pennsylvania.
They also indicted the former GOP state chair for reserving a room, as you said. I mean, Mark, this is unbelievable. I mean, and I'm telling you that he's going to get elected. In fact, this one might have done it. This one might be enough to say, and you know what's awful? He'll be behind bars. They're going to convict him, Mark, and we got to be ready for this. I heard Byron York give a terrible scenario this morning that ought to be a wake-up call to every American. Here's a scenario that could happen. He gets convicted. He gets incarcerated. He has to go to prison. Biden wins by a sliver like he did in 2020. Mm-hmm. After the election, the higher courts throw it all out and say it was bogus and it was wrong.
Meaning he was in jail for naught. He was in jail
falsely. Well, he lost the election based on it, Mark. Yeah. That's the ultimate proof of election interference. This is something that Fannie doesn't care about. This is something that Rachel Maddow doesn't care about. You go ahead and live in a country where we're going to have to accept that a conviction that was then ruled completely improper and unconstitutional and wrong and politically motivated, but it's too late because by the time it gets to the higher courts, the election is over and Biden hangs on for a sliver of a victory.
And if that happens, Democrat America will be fine. Because they don't really particularly even care that necessarily much if Trump dies in jail. They'd love it. But what all they really want, all this is all about is taking him off the field, off the battlefield for this election so that he doesn't become president again. If they get that, they won't care at all if everything gets appealed successfully. Don't you think?
I mean, Mark, Democrat America may not care, but America should care, and America is going to be broken. I'm telling you, this will break this country. We're already heading that way, and and I'm not trying to overstate this.
No, I know
Charlie
we're not
Kirk tweeted something out that's so important. He says, here's an actual line from the Georgia indictment. Now listen, this is from the indictment. Act 22. This is a criminal act that Fani Willis wants Trump to go to jail over. As read by here it is, quote, on or about the 3rd day of December 2020, Donald John Trump caused to be tweeted from the Twitter account @RealDonaldTrump, quote, Georgia hearings now on One America News Network, amazing, unquote. This was an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. Mark!
I know.
Mark! Are you frigging kidding me? I mean, I'm sorry, an actual line.
Special dispensation. I know.
Axios is right. This is breathtaking ambition, all right.
You got that right. But look at the adjectives that are being attached to it by its admirers. It's creative. It's artful. It is ambitious. Well, I guess ambitious is one way to put it, to take something where no crime committed and find about 30 of them. And by the way, this is pretty wide sweeping. Guess who's caught up in this? Rudy, who's not having a good month.
Mark Meadows,
Sidney Powell, who's not having a good couple of years. Mark Meadows,
listen, I'm not saying this to be funny. Is Mike Lindell one of the unindicted co-conspirators?
I don't believe so, but
well, he might be. I mean, honestly, throw it everything you got. I mean, the scope of this alleged RICO conspiracy.
This is mafia stuff. This is what they use to go after organized crime.
Organized crime. Turn on One America News. Boy, that's right up there with he made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
I was going to do a little Brando
sleep with the fishes.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to go to the mattresses.
A screwdriver going into Luca Brasi's hand on the bar.
Yep. You got to blow the guy away on the porch after all those years. You got to get revenge. This is insane. We are in La La Land, and I'm telling you, I'm not holding back here. The guy's going to get elected. This is going to get him elected, Mark. I'm telling you.
Nominated.
Elected.
Yes. So
elected. Forget the nomination. Come on.
That's a given at this point, right?
At this point, come on. I mean, golly. Poor Ron DeSantis.
Byron was just riffing on what might happen with the Biden narrow win, Trump in prison, and that's what. But you believe that Trump, because it's funny, as soon as you talked about Byron's narrative that Trump is in prison and loses, I think if Trump is in actual prison, he definitely wins. Because
I do too.
I just do. The spectacle would be so.
And it's up to us to tell the story, because the mainstream media won't. The legacy media is in the tank for this. They're cackling like the little girl. And listen. I believe in good and evil. I believe in the presence of Satan. I believe that we are in an unbelievably epic battle right now between right and wrong and good and evil. We're seeing it. This country has turned into a banana republic. I mean, my gosh, in San Francisco, the federal workers in the Nancy Pelosi building are being told to work remotely because it's too dangerous to work there. The criminals have now taken over the streets like some kind of a zombie movie. Did you see the looters in the Nordstrom in Los Angeles?
It was a pre-planned mob where they just descended on Nordstrom's and came out with hundreds of thousands of stuff. And one of them, apparently, you know how many security guards were working? One, God bless him, because he got pepper sprayed.
And you know why there's 45 or 50?
Yeah.
Judge Janine Pirro pointed this out last night. These Soros-installed prosecutors all over the country have limited the crimes to like $900 a person. $900 if you shoplift. As long as you shoplift under $900, we're not going to prosecute you. You're good to go. Which gives them an open door to go into the Walgreens or the CVS, clear the shelves, as long as they keep it under $900. Well, if you've got 50 people, it might be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're limited.
Armloads of slacks. I mean, how do you determine what the value is?
This is the Democrat envisioned country we're in, Mark. And I gotta believe that Americans are going to wake up and they're going to say, no more.
They will.
And Trump is right. You saw his Truth Social reaction to this. The only way this gets righted is for him to get elected.
That's the only way. Which is why there are people who are kind of leaning toward DeSantis or maybe thinking about somebody else who are putting that all on hold and saying, look, DeSantis is a young man. He'll be president someday. I've got to be a soldier for beating down this persecution of Trump. There are people who are not even that big of Trump fans who are wearing MAGA hats this morning. We've spent a lot of time talking about 18 months from now, what may lie ahead with an election, et cetera. Let's talk about 8 days from now. I can't separate myself from this. I wanted to run it by you. With the events of last night, with the events that we're talking about, there is no way he's not on the debate stage. Are you with me?
He has to be there. I don't know how he can stay away. It doesn't make any sense. And you're right. I got to now is Ronna McDaniel going to hold him to the loyalty?
Because I'm not signing the pledge. What are you talking about? I don't.
Well, let him sign. Well, listen, this ain't exactly the Supreme Court. Sign the pledge and then break it. What the heck? Who would care? At this point,
it's the total Trumpian thing to do. Did I sign it? I don't know. I'm not sure.
He rips it up on live TV on Truth Social.
I got your pledge.
Yeah, I got your pledge. Here's your pledge. Here's your pledge. Put that with the fishes. All right. The text of the day from Todd in Denton, Texas.
Yes.
The magic MyPillow text line where I get this instant feedback at 800-655-MIKE, and Todd is perfect. Here's the irony of ironies. The same people who want the police defunded are now loving and cheering on police state tactics against Donald Trump. How perfect is that?
For the win.
Great.
Beautiful.
For the win.
Download the podcast and hear all of Mike and Mark's conversations at MikeOnline.com for the M&M experience.
Always enjoy the M&M experience. Hope you do too. Thanks very much for joining us. Have a great day. Be safe and keep fighting the good fight. I'm Mike Gallagher. God bless America.